Hey everyone, welcome to the second video of a series called Sway Community Call. The goal of this series is to invite the contributors of the Sway team as a guest and have them share what the Sway team has been working on and any information on the releases and what they have on the future roadmap. And for this session, as a guest, we have Jibril from the Sway team. He is a lead at the Sway compiler team and has played a major role in the development of the Sway and the way it is right now. And now, without further ado, let me hand over the stage to you, Jibril, and then you can take it forward from there.
Yeah, hello guys. I'm the head of the Compile team. I wanted to use this opportunity to tell you about some of the stuff that we've been working on. Maybe you can share some of those links, right?
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen. Let me know if it's visible.
All right, back to the first one, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So we recently released version 0.69. That's a breaking change because we had to introduce the panic keyword. That's good news because that means that the error handling has finally landed. But before talking about that, I wanted to show some of. I wanted to start with some really nice news. That will be the next link.
Sure.
And yeah, it's that we had a really nice improvement on the implementation of the hash trait. So the standard library implementation for hashing was a bit inefficient, and we took a serious look at it and improved it. And now we are getting really nice results. So on a sample application, we got 10% bytecode size reduction and along 50% of gas cost improvement. Of course, the effect on your own code will depend on how much you're using hashing, but in smart contracts, you tend to use those a lot. So you should get some pretty good results. The hashes themselves, you should get some reduction of around 50%. So yeah, the more you use hashes in your code, the more I encourage you to update to the latest version because you will see some really nice performance improvements.
50% is like really big optimization.
Oh yeah, no, it's huge. We're feeling it ourselves. Um, All right. The big thing in this release, of course, is the release of the ABI errors. The previous community call has some extensive demo of what you can expect from these. But maybe you can go to the next link and we can have a look at the documentation and remind everybody of the stuff that you can do with those. Right. So the idea was that in Sway it was a bit difficult to debug your errors whenever your contract or script or whatever failed. You didn't really know exactly what was going on. You had only return code to use. With these, we have support for this new panic keyword, which you can use with a string. And that will return you both the error message if you're erroring out and exactly where it's coming from in your code. Will tell you where exactly which line and which library it's coming from. So if a library that you're calling from some other package panics, you'll know exactly where it is. And this is all fairly free because, yeah, there we go. You got an example of a message that you get in the command line. This is all fairly free because most of this information is stored in your ABI specification for your contract and not on chain. So you should definitely use that feature. It's the costs are really small, and the development, the improvement to the debuggability of your contracts will be huge. Along with that, we got the feature that actually this gets its name from, which are error types. If you've ever done complex error handling in Rust, you might be familiar with anyhow and all the other kind of crates that you can use in Rust for that. Of course, we're not Rust, so we had to have a slightly different solution. But if you're familiar with how Rust does error handling, you won't be too unfamiliar with the approach that we've taken in terms of the interface. It should look really familiar. So what you do is you define some enum that will be your error type. and you get a bunch of messages, and you can store some types along with it. Here we got some identity types, but you can store basically anything that is decodable alongside your error to help you with your error message and figuring out what's going on. And when you panic with an error type, you will get a much nicer message where, well, you still get your message, but you also get the value that you panic with. And this allows you to organize your errors, structure them like regular types, because those are regular types. You will be able to use traits and all the nice facilities of the Sway type system to work with these. And this is all available right now, of course, like the fork 0.69 is released right now. You can straight up just use them on mainnet, it will work. All right, maybe let's move on to the next one. That's a small improvement, but a nice one. I know that some people were waiting for this. So we implemented hash for vec. So yeah, you can just straight up hash vecs now. It just works. The next one is perhaps a slightly bigger improvement to the standard library, introduced time library. So if you've ever used time in Rust or just dealt with durations and all time types in general, you will be familiar with how this is handled. But yeah, it's nice. It will make your code that deals with time a lot more readable, I expect. It doesn't have everything, but you can do a whole bunch of the standard stuff that you would do with durations, add subtract. You can manipulate timestamps and change between like UXN, TAI64, a bunch of stuff. We want to do more with these, but yeah, it should be really nice. And if you have any code that actually deals with time in your contract, you'll probably want to
Yeah.
do this.
I think this would be a big performance enhancement given that we can have TI A64 and Unix conversion because earlier it was not much convenient to use the TAI64 and like the standard timestamp. So this would be, I guess, a big improvement on on that front.
For sure. All right. The next one I will only slightly tease because I know that the next community call probably will have some more extensive demo of this, but we finally have tracing for fork call. So if you haven't used fork call, I encourage you to take a look at it. It's a small utility that goes with fork that allows you to call a contract and directly get a result. Very nice for debugging a contract that's already deployed. But with this improvement, you will actually get a lot of information on what is happening behind the scenes, what is calling what, which contract is calling what, with what arguments, etc. But again, you'll get a nicer demo of this in the future.
Yeah, just FYI, for call has been inspired from the cast call from Foundry. So you can expect a lot of similar functionalities from for call as one have in cast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
one last thing, I suppose, the const generics. So this is perhaps a bit of a teaser of the stuff that we're working on the compiler right now. This is actually available as an experimental feature right now if you want to check it out, but it doesn't fully work, of course. So what we want to do, if you're familiar with the const generics as a concept from Rust, it's very similar. We want to be able to store not just types, but values as generic arguments to functions and pretty much everywhere that you can have a generic argument. And this will allow us to have implementations for instance, collections, where you can have a single implementation for every size of a collection, that sort of thing. But it's part of a more general thing where we want you to be able to execute more code at compile time. So expect that in the future, we're going to want to enhance Sway with that kind of functionality and allow you to compute a lot of things ahead of time whilst you're compiling your contract rather than have to do anything at runtime. And
so
yeah,
is there any ETA on when can we expect this in the production or like the main release?
const generics, I think that it's still a bit undercooked. We probably need a few more weeks to iron it out. But again, it's more part of an ongoing effort where we're going to try and improve compile time execution for the compiler generally. So expect that there are going to be some releases that improve your ability to do that sort of thing throughout the future.
That sounds interesting. Yeah, I think these are some pretty good upgrades actually. Just one thing I would like to share that Jibril was supposed to like do live coding over here, but unfortunately he has some technical issues, so he can't share the screen. So yeah, maybe we will have some more articles or like threads from the Sri Lanka channel, so you can ex keep an eye out there and expect some more technical content from there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so thanks for the wonderful summary, Jibril, and all the information about the releases as well as updates on Sway. I would also like to highlight that the stuff that Jibril mentioned about the error handling, I'm currently working on a big thread, so you can expect it coming out maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So just keep an eye out. And just a glimpse for the next call, we will be having Zishan from the tooling team, and he's the guy who has built the for call. So he will be joining us, and we will be showing around the tool live. So I guess that's the overall gist. And yeah, thanks for joining in and tuning to the all the fuel socials. And yeah, see you, I guess, in the next stream. Bye bye.
Great time, guys. Bye.
Yeah, that